posing new worries for President Obama's trip to Kenya. The president leaves tonight on his first visit to his ancestral homeland since becoming president. But ahead of the trip, the United States has conducted nearly half a dozen secret airstrikes in neighboring Somalia against the group Al-Shabaab. U.S. officials aren't offering details, but some experts suspect the strikes send a very clear message: stay away from the president. Also, a Kenyan flight bulletin was leaked online outlining some details of the president's trip itinerary. This included when airspace would be closed due to the president's arrival and departure. So with me now to discuss all of these elements is a former Secret Service agent who was assigned to President Obama, Jonathan Wackrow. Jonathan, thank you so much.
Glad to be back.
The White House, when asked about the leaking of this flight bulletin, they say that they are not concerned. But how big of a deal is this, though?
This is a very big deal. I mean, the White House is trying to minimize the threat and really lower the expectations of what that, the implications are. But for the guys on the ground, this is a really big deal. Anytime that a security plan is divulged to the public, it exposes our playbook. So we need to modify that prior to the president's arrival.
As much as you can, which you can't very much. Take us, though, then inside those conversations amongst the Secret Service, who's in charge now of the plan. What needs to be adjusted?
So really a lot needs to be adjusted. It's not just the president's arrival. It's all of our contingency plans. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of planning that goes.
There's a domino effect. I think you've kind of like.
Absolutely. I mean, so if they have to adjust the president's arrival time, that really will change what our emergency action plans potentially could be. What are we going to do in a crisis situation? What are we going to do if we ever have to relocate? What are we going to do in a medical situation?
You're not going to take him to a Kenyan hospital.
No, you're definitely not going to take him there. Right. But these are plans that have been going being developed for weeks by the agents on the ground, the advance team, in coordination with the White House staff, the White House military office. Now all of a sudden, 72 hours, 48 hours prior to the trip, this information is exposed. It really, it's a scramble to readjust.
And you've said, though, this is one of the most dangerous trips the president is going to have taken. I mean, especially when you look, that says something when you look at all the trips, places that he has gone. Why is this so dangerous?
Well, you compare this to like some of the war zones that he's gone into.
Yeah.
He's gone to Afghanistan and into Iraq. Those were unannounced trips with full support of the military. I mean, they were surrounded by an entire contingency of U.S. personnel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was, extraordinarily safe in those environments. Here we're going to a place that people have really been preparing for 7 years for him to come to. The region is a hotbed for terrorism. I mean, just by the airstrikes that they're launching right now is an indicator of that. So people that want to do harm have been planning for a long time. This is a widely publicized trip for him. It's very personal to the president. It's his homecoming. So there's a drastic difference, and there's a great risk that is involved in this trip to Kenya.
There's a big difference when the people you're working with on the ground is the U.S. military versus the people you're working with on the ground are the Kenyan military.
Absolutely. Yeah. The Secret Service has to rely on our local counterparts all throughout the world to get our job done. And it's just what is that level of expectation from those counterparts that we can rely on.
Jonathan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up.